Welcome to Kings of Kimuras.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Kings of Kimuras. Dom and I are here. We're joined by Donny. Donny is the owner of Soda City Combat Club, also known as Soda City Grappling.
It's just Soda City Combat Club.
So Donny's here with us today. Obviously traveled in this week and trained with us. He's going to be our newest Corvo affiliate. We're happy to have him here with us. And so just tell us a little bit about like what your experience was this week.
Oh, it's been crazy. It's been honestly one of the most eye-opening experiences from a jiu-jitsu point of view. I've never been in a room full of nothing but killers. I rolled with white belts that I thought were definitely blue belts. I didn't even realize it. I was like, okay, these guys are different. They're built different in Texas, for sure.
Yeah, I think that, like, obviously Dom has been here for a while, and you know, our coaching has evolved throughout the years, but we've kind of always had that approach of a lot of like situational. Now they call it, you know, what is it?
Game, like CLA.
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 So we've always kind of done that with like a combination of drilling. But I think like the biggest thing for us is that all of the guys here are like continuously learning. You know, we're all watching the instructionals. We're all, well, most of the guys that are like at the higher level are competing, which isn't like a huge, I don't think it's, you know, I don't put a lot of emphasis on that, but it is good, especially as somebody that's like evolving and coaching, to like jump in there occasionally and make sure what you're doing is correct, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, it's the white belt forever mentality.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about it, I know for sure on this podcast. So like, if you're an instructor out there and you're not in the mindset of, well, I don't know everything, let me try to outsource my learning. But it's just like, imagine if you were trying to be a college professor and like you never listened to any lectures from any other professors. You just tried to kind of learn it on your own, like just reading textbooks or whatever. Most people don't learn like that. You know, they have to see practical application, and they need it to be broken down to its like smallest detail. Mm-hmm. So you as a coach have to, and it's hard as a competitor too. Like I know you do competitions as well. It's hard to like play both sometimes. But it's a very important skill to have.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I competed for years. My focus now is more on the coaching aspect of it. But having said that, it's not like I stopped learning because I'm not competing anymore. You know, I try to set aside like an hour every day where I'm either watching instructionals or, you know, watching competition. Honestly, that's like predominantly what I do is I watch competition matches and then like derive positions for our situational rounds from that. Because you can watch those instructionals, but I feel like sometimes it's, I wouldn't say wasted effort, but there's a lot of like sitting through stuff that it may not like be applicable to what you want to teach students to find the one thing that is good. You know, there's very few guys out there that have instructionals that the whole thing front to end is solid.
Yeah, there's some like fluff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also like when you're watching a long instructional, it's good to like break up the monotony a little bit and be like, this is not really super high percentage, but it's something fun you can try. Mm-hmm. You know, I know Craig's instructionals are kind of like that.
Yeah,
like most of it in there is like super duper high level, but there is some like fun to be had. And he's like, yeah, this is like probably not gonna get this on people who are good, but it's fun to do.
Right. Yeah. You know, in the early days of watching instructionals, even Craig had one of these. There was like a guy that had a BTT rash guard on, but the sound quality and the video quality was not like the best, you know, like they weren't catching all the sound. And now especially with Fanatics, they've kind of like dialed that in. Like if you go there and film one, you know, they're really focused on like making sure you can hear everything the instructor says and like keeping everything in frame, you know.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
There's a Hodger Gracie instructional. Dude, it is so funny. It's like a very old school instructional. But, like, literally as he's explaining technique, people are, like, walking into the gym and, like, talking and stuff. And then, like, he looks over and, like, stares at them. And then you just hear it go silent. And it's like they can feel his aura from all the way over there. Like, hey, shut up.
So how long has your gym been open?
It's been open as a business since 2023.
Mm-hmm.
As a business, again, I'm the second owner. I'm not the original owner of Soda City. Soda City was deprived of 8 rejects that left one gym and started training in the backyard, and then they got a brick and mortar spot, and then it just kind of fell into my lap. It's like, here. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take it over. And I've actually only been the owner for 2 months now, you know, so. But we've had like a really good community since 2023. I think we've always had anywhere from 25 to 35 people at all times, just constantly training. We have a solid foundation, and now we're just on the way, like trying to grow.
Yeah. When the guys would train in somebody's backyard, would they like put out mats, or how was that set up?
Yeah, so I've just heard the story. So I wasn't a part of that initial group. I was still training up with Diego Romero at Team ZR in North Carolina at that time. I hadn't moved back to South Carolina. But from like the pictures and the videos and the stories I've heard, they were literally just going to the backyard and rolling out mats, and they would train. And then eventually they were able to set up shop in like an abandoned chapel. They were like remodeling it, and they were paying the guy pennies on the dollar a month to go in there and roll in the evenings at this chapel. And then finally they were able to put all their money together and get a brick and mortar spot downtown Columbia, which is pretty sweet. And it's been there ever since.
Yeah, that says a lot about your student base, that those people were like willing to go and train in somebody's backyard and then train in an abandoned building. And, you know, they didn't like lose a huge portion of people, you know, like everybody's willing to stick around.
Yeah, we call them the OGs. Like everyone's still there. You know, we're a very college heavy area, so some of those students were college students, but like when they come, they always come back. They're always coming to train again. And now we have some more like permanent people that are just like, they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. So it's been really fun. It's been a really good experience.
There's a like a basic training base there, right?
Yeah, there's actually a couple military bases within the area. So yeah, you have Fort Jackson, which is a basic training military base, but then you have the Shaw Air Force Base as well, which is a permanent station for Air Force. And then there's also like a Air National Guard base as well there.
Do you guys get a lot of those people coming in?
We have a few military members from like Shaw Air Force Base that come in. We just had one that got back from deployment, so he's back training again. He's one of our MMA kind of fighters that's around. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's badass,
And like
dude.
prior to or maybe we're training in the military, but like you want to talk about that a little bit, your experience in the military?
Yeah, so I joined the Army back in 2016. Then when I joined, I was out in Kansas, and that's actually when I started doing combatives for the Army. I was on the Fort Riley combatives team doing jiu-jitsu essentially, right, just in OCPs. And that's kind of when I fell in love with like combat sports. I started training out there in Junction City, Kansas with Leonardo Silva, and that was with the Global Fight Team. I re-enlisted, moved to North Carolina, and that's when I started training with Team ZR, Diego Romero, and all those guys down there. I got out at the end of 2021 when I was all said and done. I did move back home to South Carolina. I didn't have a spot. I had 2 knee surgeries, so I like stopped training for almost 2 years, back-to-back knee surgeries. So I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. My cousin was actually training with Soda City Combat Club. He was part of that original group of guys. He's like, come here and train. I was like, all right, I'm gonna come train. I'll get back on the mat. And it was like, it all started over for me. I was like back in love with it. I was like, okay, this is where I belong now.
Yeah.
And I've been there ever since.
And you guys primarily focus on no-gi and MMA?
Yeah, so we're a no-gi jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai is what we offer. The whole time I've been there, we don't wear the gi. Like we're mostly no-gi. Every once in a while, someone will bring their gi in, and we'll roll around.
And we'll tell them to get out.
Right, like, get out of here. But it's mostly strictly no-gi MMA. It's myself and Colin Gobout, who is he's a pro MMA fighter for Conflict MMA. So he runs our striking program. He's in charge of all that. And then I coach jiu-jitsu as well with Patrick Lawson. He's a great instructor that we have. And Coach Daniel, who teaches our lunch class.
Nice, man. You guys got a good, solid group. It reminds me a lot of the old Corvo. Like, when you showed me pictures of the gym, I had like an epiphany of like the old gym, you know? It's like just the inverse colorway. Like, you have blue mats, and we had red mats over in the other spot. But it's literally like almost the exact same layout. and like it looks almost the exact same. So it's like
It's small, right? Like we have 900 square feet of space in there, and that's not all the mat space, right? Like the mat space is probably, we're looking at 750 square feet of mat space. But it doesn't matter. Like I've learned through this experience and like going to other gyms and being at those really big corporate gyms and stuff like that, like I've come to realize like it's not about the size of the gym, but more so the quality of the people in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I can say about like Soda City Combat Club is we have quality students.
Yeah.
Quality competitors. I don't advertise as a competition gym. We are for the hobbyists. We like to be an affordable way to train combat sports for the community, but we have quality people in that gym, and it just feels like a family all the time. And it's a vibe. Like you go in there, it's a little dark, right? We don't have the black, the big bright fluorescent lights or anything, right? It's kind of dark and grungy in there, but that's kind of like where we just build. And we've built this camaraderie and sense of family around each other in our community there in downtown and 5 Points. So it's just been really, really good.
Yeah, we had our original room was 900 square feet too, and it had the red mats. You know, the guys that are here still from that, they call it the red room, and it was super tiny. And we grew it pretty quick. I would say within like a year we had doubled our space, which still isn't a lot. You know, we were like 1,700 square feet, but we still had, you know, you're including like bathrooms, closet, front entryway in there. So the mat space didn't double, but it was like almost doubled. And we would have sometimes like 30 people in there, you know, open mats on Saturday. It would be wall to wall to people. And, you know, if somebody was like going harder, people would just stop and sit back and watch, you know, like you really can't like fully train. And we opened this one in 2020, and that's when things kind of like blew up for us, I feel like, you know.
Yeah, that's for sure. We started getting so many more people in, and like just through kind of word of mouth, and you know, like other teams are way bigger on social media than probably we are. But if you're like in this area, you know that Corvo's got legit guys.
Yeah.
You know, this area is like kind of weird in that there's like a lot of competition because there's so many gyms around.
Right.
So like all the gyms are kind of in competition with one another. But yeah, again, through like word of mouth and like guys coming for open mat from other gyms, it's like, yeah, these guys at Corvo definitely know what they're doing, man. They're tough, extremely tough.
We know how that is because like where we're at, I mean, there's like 6 gyms within 5 miles of our location, literally. So it's very competitive for like getting people in or whatnot. But people over the past couple months, like 6 months, I'd say, I got to shout out like my competitors, Colton Sullivan and Matt Bright. Like they're 2 killer blue belts, but those 2 guys are constantly like going out. They're always putting on a show for like Soda City Combat Club, and we have this event down there called Sunday Service up in North Carolina. Those guys go there every single Sunday for like the past 3 months to get training in, and that's honestly like without them, I wouldn't have been able to do what we have done in the past few months, getting our name out there, because that was something we struggled with, I feel like, in the past, and why we haven't grown to our full capability as a gym yet.
Yeah, in the beginning days, it was myself and David Halsey that were like the head coaches, and you know, we both kind of like took the route of like hitting a lot of super fights. David was the Submission Hunter Pro, which they're the guys that kind of like run a lot of the UFC stuff now. And I went the route of Fight to Win. And they just got a lot of eyes on us. So like instantly people were like finding out, you know, whereas I feel like if you go the IBJJF route, like it's good, but you're not going to get that same kind of coverage that you would get on like a major event like those 2, you know?
Right.
And it's also for people who are not necessarily in the jiu-jitsu sphere. Like if you're in jiu-jitsu and you see that these guys have won like IBJJF stuff, you're like, oh, this guy's pretty legit. But to the normal person, it looks way cooler. Like you're on a stage, like the super fight stage is just kind of, I think, more viewer friendly than something like a tournament. Like if you imagine you ask somebody like their first time watching jiu-jitsu, hey, go and watch like Worlds, the No-Gi Worlds. It's like, what do you even look for? There's so many mats and there's so many matches, like you don't really even know what you're watching. But if I ask somebody to like go watch a Fight to Win or something like that, it's way more of a show. It's way more,
Right.
I think, palatable for the general audience. So things like that, like, even though Fight to Win's kind of like been diluted over time, like especially after COVID when they started having like a ton of events, it's kind of like, you know, diluted over time. But again, I think it's more palatable for the general audience in that format than like a tournament format.
Yeah, and you mentioned something there, like, you know, oversaturation of Fight to Win. But for us here in Dallas during COVID, that was amazing, man.
Yeah.
Because it was every weekend there was a Fight to Win here. So, I mean, our guys were like competing all the time. And I agree, it did get saturated over time. It doesn't kind of have the same weight that it once did. But having said that, like, I'm thankful for them because, you know, without like Seth's help of like, you know, getting me matches, getting you matches, all the other people, I don't think we would like be where we're at without them.
Yeah, to 100%. Yeah, got to give a big shout out to Fight to Win.
Yeah.
And Gillies for
Yeah.
always hosting it, because it's literally at Gillies like every single time. And it's not like the best place. Downtown Dallas kind of sucks driving at night, but it's all good. You know, it's a fun spot to compete at.
That Gillies is like a very historical place. They filmed that movie Urban Cowboy with what is John Travolta, which is like way back in the day, but like that was
Before our time.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about that.
Even before my time, like John Travolta was probably like in his 20s, but you know, that's like a historical spot here in Dallas for, you know, honky tonks pretty much.
Dude, it was a good time during COVID, man. I think one of those I did get my MCL torn, so not like all sunshine and rainbows, but it's okay. You learn from it.
Yeah.
Toro Cup, man. That's what we have. And
I've heard of that one before,
Southeast,
yeah.
like Colton Sullivan was there 2 weeks ago. I was there with him, coaching him. Like, Toro Cup's done a lot for the jiu-jitsu community. Everyone up North Carolina in general just has this crazy community of jiu-jitsu. It's mind-blowing, like, to experience everyone there and the camaraderie everyone has for everyone in that whole circuit. But Toro Cup and Sunday service up there has just done wonders for everyone in the Southeast.
Yeah, it's important, like, as a gym owner to get in with something like that, you know. I know that the scene here in Dallas is kind of strange. There's a lot of, like, that old mindset of, like, not cross-training. It's very different than what they have in Austin. But I think that's because there's so many transplants in Austin. Whereas here, there's a lot of guys that have been here for a long time.
They're rooted. They're deeply rooted.
A lot of
20
Brazilian
years.
guys here that, you know, really kind of, they encourage cross training, but when it comes down to it, that only means like you come to my gym to train and not we go to your gym and train.
Yeah, we know all about that. So.
Yeah.
It's so weird, right? Because I feel like we've always been very inviting of like everybody. Like the open mats here, like you'll see tomorrow, like guys will come in from all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, but it's. I have had instances where they say, "Can you just not leave me out of the pictures and stuff? Like I don't want to ruffle any feathers." And I just go, "Man, that's just so crazy." Because I feel like if Tony saw me like doing a cross training like at some open mat somewhere, maybe like Next Gen has one on Sundays.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't care at all. He knows what I'm trying to do out here. Like he knows the level I'm trying to achieve. So he knows I'm doing it for a purpose, you know. He knows I'm not gonna like leave the gym. And I guess that's kind of like an insecurity thing too, right? Is like you know that maybe you're not like the highest quality coach, so you want to like desperately keep your guys and not have them like be exposed to other things, other ideas.
Well, I think you said something very key there about them being insecure and maybe not being the best coach. I think it's important to realize as a coach that like you're never going to be the best coach that you can be, but the goal is like to continue to grow and learn. And some of these guys keep that mindset of like, you know, I've got to like keep people from knowing that I'm not a good coach. You know?
Right,
so
right.
They don't necessarily like continue to learn. Like we've talked about this before about how, you know, you'll go to a guy that's been teaching for 15 years and he's teaching the exact same thing he was teaching 15 years ago. You know, like nothing has evolved. You know, it's kind of like the Gracie mindset of, you know, jiu-jitsu is only this set of moves that were invented by the Gracies, and that's all we're going to teach. And if that's your mindset as a coach, like you're going to get people to a certain point, and then you can't take them any further.
Yeah, and then they have to start outsourcing, and like you can't be mad at that as a coach. Like if you're really, have people's best interests in mind.
Right.
And I feel like open mats are important, right? Like, be as a student, being able to go to someone else's gym and open mat, for one, it gets you new looks, and it lets you test your game. Because I know, like, at our spot, we train with the same small number of people every training session, right? So over time, like, although our game's evolving, like my game's evolving, their game's evolving. They know what I'm going to do. I know what they're going to do at this point, right? It's very predictable. So I feel like going to those open mats, getting new looks with higher level competitors, maybe even sometimes, right, depending on where you're going, is extremely important from a competitive aspect and for just getting generally good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And we have an open mat every Saturday at 11. I welcome everybody, but I've had that issue where guys be like, hey, I can't come because I don't want to ruffle the feathers. Or I've had guys go, hey, I know you guys took some pictures. Can you not post those because I don't want to ruffle the feathers? It's like, well, that's just weird to me.
Yeah, it's a very strange phenomena. But, I mean, I've dealt with it I've been training for 15 years. Like, even when I was a kid, this one time I went to New York with some family. We were visiting. My dad is from New York, so he has family out there. And for Christmas, one of them gifted me essentially a training session at not the Blue Basement, but another Renzo Gracie affiliate there in New York. And I went there and trained, and dude, it was awesome, man. I learned so much. We trained in the gi. I trained with some really tough guys, like older guys. I was probably like 13 at the time. But I was training with just fully grown adults, and it was awesome, man. They weren't trying to hurt me or anything. They were super welcoming. And when I got back home, of course I'm like 13, so my coach is not going to berate me for this, but my parents told me afterwards that essentially he told them, we can't do that again. We essentially banned from cross-training at any gym anywhere in the United States. I'm like, dude, I'm not even cross-training here in Texas, you know what I mean?
It's not like going to move to New York tomorrow.
Yeah,
There,
exactly,
right?
dude. Even if we went to the Blue Basement, which would have been awesome, but we're not going to, upheave our life and then go to New York. That's not, we're not going to do that, dude. So, yeah, it was very weird for me. And, of course, my parents didn't tell me this till I was much older. I was like, guys, that's a big red flag. It's like a huge red flag for a gym. Barring their competitors or their guys who take this more serious, or anybody really from cross training. It's crazy.
Especially when you're traveling, that should be the time that you go and cross train, And for me as a coach, when I travel somewhere, I try to go and train. When we go to Hawaii, I have 4 or 5 gyms that I always hit up and train at. So it would be hypocritical of me to be like, hey, you can't go cross train, even though I just went and did it.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's wild.
Yeah, I know that we've had a couple of students that had dual memberships, and one story comes to mind about we had this person training with us, and there was video of them rolling, and I didn't realize that they had a membership somewhere else, and we posted it on our YouTube page, and it somehow got back to their instructor, and it caused a lot of drama for them. But they were, trying to get me to take this video down. I'm like, well, if they've already seen it, what's the point of me removing it at this point?
Damage is done.
Yeah. So, it's just a strange mindset to have, that feast or famine type of mindset.
And I've been in that position where I've had a dual membership. Even before I was the owner of Soda City, when I was just an athlete there, just training, I had a dual membership just because of my work schedule. This other place was closer to my house. If I couldn't make it to Soda City due to me staying late, I could go there and still make the class. And they were like, I explained all that to them. Look, I'm going to get a membership here, but I'm going to train at Soda City still. And they were just like, huh? You're going to what? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, no, you got to compete under us. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm coming here once, maybe twice a week if you're lucky.
Yeah, it's just a weird way to handle the situation, Yeah, well, I just want to say, thanks for coming out this week, and I'm glad that you came out here and trained with us, and we got to know you a little bit, and looking forward to you coming back with some of your other competitors as well.
Yeah, it's been great. I've enjoyed my time here a lot.
That's cool, man. Well, we can wrap it up. We did 25 minutes. I'm happy with it if you guys are happy with it.
For sure, man. And you guys are going to go to Fortunate Sons.
Yeah, we're going to grab some pizza. So this podcast brought to you by Felix and Butterfly X. So make sure you guys check them out, get some gear, and look sick while you're training. Thanks, guys.
And that's a wrap for today's Kings of Kimuras episode. Thanks for joining us on this epic journey. Remember to keep training, stay curious, and always be ready for the next adventure. Until next time, keep your guards up and your minds open.